Lane closures on 380 might delay your work ETA. We have the details.
After more than 50 years on Earth, a NASA spacecraft will be landing on the moon. You don't want to miss it.
Are you looking for a wardrobe reset? Uptown Cheapskate has the latest and greatest fashion. Stay with us.
Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is NTTV Nightly News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us on NTTV Nightly News. I'm Mauricio Ortiz-Segura.
And I'm Chanel Young. Jury selection began today in the controversial Rust movie set shooting. While the movie star Alec Baldwin could be facing criminal charges, the woman who prepared the gun used in the deadly shooting is facing manslaughter charges. CNN's Laura Aguirre has more.
Hannah Gutierrez-Reed with Santa Fe, Mexico deputies shortly after the deadly on-set shooting of Rust cinematographer Helena Hutchins in 2021. Gutierrez-Reed was the film's armorer and is now charged with involuntary manslaughter and evidence tampering. She has pleaded not guilty.
She came in here and went across her chest. And it came out the back and it went into her.
The bullet also wounded director Joel Souza, who was standing near Hutchins. Now the jury that will determine Reed's fate is being selected in a Santa Fe courthouse Wednesday. New Mexico's Health and Safety Bureau says as the armorer, Gutierrez-Reed was responsible for all storage, handling, and maintenance of the firearms and ammo on set. According to investigators, live rounds were found on the scene, commingled with dummy rounds.
So if that's the case, then who commingled them?
Actor and Rust producer Alec Baldwin was holding the prop gun that killed Hutchins. He too has pleaded not guilty to involuntary manslaughter and could face trial later this year. The film's assistant director, David Halls, handed Baldwin the weapon.
When the guy hands me the gun and says we have a cold gun on set, that means the gun is empty. I pulled the hammer all the way back without locking it, and the gun went off.
Halls was convicted of negligent use of a deadly weapon last year. Prosecutors say Gutierrez-Reed's trial will focus on lax safety protocols during the filming of Rust, while Gutierrez-Reed's attorney insists his client is being unfairly prosecuted. I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
I don't know about you, Mauricio, but I have been loving today's warm weather. I mean, the sun is shining, the cool breeze in my hair. It's been feeling pretty good.
I gotta agree, Chanel. Walking in this weather has really put a pep in my step, you know? But I wonder how some drivers will feel this morning, you know, knowing that there might be some residual on the road. Our weather anchor, Kayla Bumpus, will tell us more about that. How about it, Kayla?
Thanks, guys. Your daily commutes might take a little longer thanks to closures along Highway 380. From 7 p.m. Wednesday to 11 p.m. Saturday, 380 and northbound FM 720 will not have access to Oak Grove Lane. Southbound Oak Grove Lane and northbound FM 720 will detour to 380 northbound. 380 will be closed during this part. The second part of the closure will be from 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. Sunday, with left turns from 380 to Oak Grove Lane and FM 720 will be closed. The closures will leave no direct access to westbound 380, and all lanes of FM 720 will detour to eastbound 380. All lanes are expected to be reopened by 11 p.m. Sunday, so until then, TxDOT is warning drivers to pay attention to the new traffic configuration once the project is completed. With that, let's take a look at our weather. Right now, it is a beautiful 76 degrees with some pretty strong winds at 17 miles per hour. There's a few clouds that will linger into tonight. It's going to cool down to 69 degrees Fahrenheit, feeling the same, and wind speeds are going to pick up to 18 miles per hour. Tomorrow, the wind speeds are going to slow down to 14 miles per hour. We're going to get to enjoy that beautiful sun, and it's going to be 67. Now, while there is a lot of road construction here on Earth, there is a rather lot of activity going on in space, the moon to be specific. Mauricio, what do you have on all of that?
Now, Kayla, I don't know if you can tell where I am right now, but it relates to these stories because they are out of this world. Speaking of out of this world, that's where NASA and Houston-based Intuitive Machines hope that they can make their collaborative project go. The Odysseus lunar lander, also known as ODI, is an uncrewed spacecraft that is aiming to touch down on the moon tomorrow. this Thursday. The goal for this voyage is for Odie to land on the moon's south pole and help with future lunar landings with the science and technology experiments it's carrying. If Odie successfully lands on the moon, it will be the first commercially built craft to ever reach the moon, as well as the first time a U.S. spacecraft lands on the moon in over 50 years. Now, of course, there might not be any people on this space flight, but you could be on the next one going to Mars, or at least a simulation of one. NASA wants volunteers for a simulated one-year mission to the Red Planet in spring of 2025. The second of 3 planned ground-based missions will kick off. Volunteer crew members will live and work inside a 1,700 square foot habitat at NASA's Houston Space Center for each mission. These crews will undergo simulated spacewalks, robotic operations, habitat maintenance, exercise, and crop growth. If you're a healthy, motivated U.S. citizen or permanent resident who doesn't smoke, is between 30 to 55 years old, and proficient in English, then NASA is looking for you. The deadline for applicants is Tuesday, April the 2nd. That's all I have for space news. Back to you on Earth at the desk, Chanel.
Thanks, Mauricio. UNT students have been graced by the presence of a very special artist, marking a groundbreaking journey in the world of poetry. Join me as we revisit Sunday's literary luminary. Check it out. The Class Acts Performing Arts Series has geared up to welcome a remarkable artist at the University of North Texas. Her name is Joy Harjo.
And that's, and then I came to poetry because of it was a place to go when there were no words.
On Sunday, the Jade Ballroom is the place to be as Joy Harjo, the 23rd U.S. Poet Laureate, takes center stage for an inspiring 2-day event. It kicks off with a craft conversation hosted by Tarfia Fezula. Joy discusses her work and her views on writing, captivating students interested in the craft.
Their native people are still alive, and some of them are poets.
Joy is a trailblazer in the world of poetry. She made history as the first Native American to be appointed Poet Laureate and is the second person to serve 3 terms in that prestigious role. Her 10 books of poetry, including titles like An American Sunrise and How We Became Human, have earned her numerous awards, including the Ivan Sandroff Lifetime Achievement Award. The excitement continues with a musical performance, poetry reading, Q&A, and book signing in the Lyceum, where students have a chance to meet a living legend, gaining insight into her remarkable journey and groundbreaking work. It's an event that inspires the next generation of poets.
Each individual takes a little seed from everything that she said. Those get planted in their work, in their interactions with others, and hopefully adds a layer of beauty and wonder, because that's what poetry brings us, right?
Ooh, after seeing that story, Chanel, I think poetry might be my new hobby. And speaking of hobbies, I know your hobby is saving money.
Oh, but what is that supposed to mean? Are you calling me broke?
I'm just saying,
Okay, well, you are kind of right. There's even more savings, and it is a break for those with student debt. It's all up next on NTTV News.
All right, look up here. 1, 2, 3.
They're like,
it's so good.
They were in there like, what?
Well, we planned it, so it was a plan already. Yeah.
You're right, Mom. I have.
primary election season. But what exactly is a primary election? Well, it simply means each political party represented on the ballot puts your best or your most popular candidates up for voters to choose. Whoever wins the primary goes on the November ballot. But in Texas, we have an open primary. That means you can vote in either primary, regardless of which political party you actually favor. When you show up to vote, the poll workers ask which primary ballot you want, and they take it from there. Well, everyone, if you're a student like Mauricio and me, you might want to keep an eye out for a very important notification from the Biden administration.
That's right, and this notification has something to do with student loans. It's all part of a new payment plan. Our reporter Ashley Loudermill tells us more.
Thanks, guys. Today, the Biden administration has begun notifying 153,000 Americans that their student loans has been canceled due to the new Save and Repayment Plan. It's part of an effort to act as quickly as possible to give more borrowers breathing room and to move on from their student debt. You are eligible for student loan relief if you had enrolled in the new SAVE plan, if you had originally borrowed $12,000 or less to attend college, and if you had made at least 10 years of payments. In total, the Biden administration said it has now approved nearly $138 billion in debt relief for around 3.9 million Americans. Now, if you attended college more than 20 years ago, you might be out of luck, but make sure to check with your loan provider in case it changes. Thank you. That's all I have today. Back to you guys in studio.
Thanks, Ashley. Scientists have conducted a study causing them to increasingly raise concerns regarding pollution in space.
From debris to satellite launches, NTTV's Kayla Bumpus shares how these findings may potentially affect our planet, perhaps putting Earth at risk. Kayla?
Thanks, guys. Scientists are beginning to get worried concerning the levels of pollution in space. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration conducted a study in the atmosphere, and it revealed that up to 10% of the particles in the upper atmosphere now contain bits of metal. The cause of the vaporized metal is from rockets and satellites falling out of orbit and burning up. They have predicted that in the upcoming decades, this man-made debris will make up to 50% of stratospheric aerosols. Scientists are concerned that all of the planned satellite launches will negatively affect the ozone layer, and with that, Earth's climate. Let's take a look at our weather here in North Texas. Right now in North Texas, it is 74 degrees. Up in Sherman, it is 75. Over in Decatur, 76. In Bowie, a beautiful 77. And Graham, we're over in the 80s at 81. And over the state, similar temperatures, lots of 70s, a few 80s. We're definitely starting to feel that spring weather. In Abilene, 83. Over in El Paso, 72. In Amarillo, 75. Let's take a look at this week's forecast. This week, we are starting off with the beautiful sun, a high of 76 and a low of 47 for Thursday. Friday, a high of 72, a low of 44. Saturday, a high of 74, a low of 54. Sunday, a high of 80 and a low of 58. Monday, we're going to begin to see those clouds that will linger until Wednesday, a high of 87 and a low of 64. Tuesday, a high of 82 and a low of 56. And Wednesday, a high of 62 and a low of 39. That's all I have for you guys this week. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Kayla. Well, now that we have an idea of this week's weather, we definitely know what kind of weather-appropriate clothes to wear.
That's right, and to top it all off, there's an awesome place in Denton that offers stylish clothing for an affordable price. NTTV's Giancarlo will tell us all about it. What's up, Giancarlo?
With spring rolling around, and excitement for outdoor adventures and spring festivals are on their way. From late night dates with a partner to hanging out with friends, There's always a need for a wardrobe change. These days, we need to look sharp. But if you're working on a budget, that will be a little tougher. Luckily, local Denton thrift stores are always willing to help in times of need. Uptown Cheapskate had a local Denton thrift brings you higher fashion at budget level prices. Let's take a look at what Uptown Cheapskate has to offer.
Uptown Cheapskate, located on Brinker Road off of Loop 288, is a small but welcoming store with a variety of clothing options from shirts, pants, and shorts to shoes and even signature colognes. With modern accents to capture the store, it takes a modern look at thrifting, captivating customers to look around and see what is available.
So we are a resale clothing store, and so we take in clothes from people in the Denton area, and they bring in secondhand clothing, and it's for teens and young adults casual clothing, and just kind of a cheap, affordable way for people to find resale clothing.
With the ability to sell secondhand clothing and for cash, it creates a way to make some money on the side while helping out Denton locals.
Just because we do buy clothes every single day, so it kind of is a process, and we have to make sure things are moving. And then I also mainly on the buy counter, so helping buy those clothes in.
Uptown Cheapskate has stores spread throughout the nation, from California to Idaho, Utah, and our home Texas, reaching all the way to the East Coast, touching Florida. If you're on a budget, you'll be able to find high-end brands that fit your price range, making it helpful if you're looking for outfits for a night out or any formal wear for your job-related attire.
As a store, I think it's a great way for people to find affordable clothing that they can use for job interviews or a night out or for their birthday. I know a couple people have asked me personally for help finding job interview outfits, and I believe that if you look good, you feel good, and it will help you in your day-to-day life.
All in all, Uptown Cheapskate was a captivating store with a modern twist that kept me searching for more clothing. Having many options to look through left me with the urge to leave with a purchase.
You heard it yourself. Uptown Cheapskate is always willing to help Denton locals look their best while not breaking the bank. If you're in need of a new sense of fashion or looking to take on a professional look for your career head towards Uptown Cheapskate to pick up some new gear. That's all for me. Now back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Giancarlo. I am definitely going to check that out. Now, Mauricio, how about a little update for our sports fish?
Ooh, sounds good to me. That story is coming up right after the break. Stay with us.
Hey Alex, this guy on the internet says he wants to give me money.
That sounds suspicious.
What do you mean?
Typically, strangers who promise you money on the internet have their own best interest in mind. They often use bounce checks, which will disappear shortly after depositing, but not before they've asked for some money in return.
So he doesn't really want to spoil me?
No.
Well, then what should I do?
The best way to handle it is to block and report the suspicious message, or even consult local law enforcement if you've already fallen victim.
So I guess we aren't going to Key West for spring break.
No.
What's wrong? Are you stuck in your paper?
Pretty much. I haven't written anything in like an hour.
Why don't you check out the Writing Center at UNT?
Well, how do I meet up with them?
All you have to do to make an appointment is visit the Writing Center's website and either call the number or email writingcenter@unt.edu. The appointment is 30 minutes long, and the trained tutors will be able to help with brainstorming, correcting grammar, ensuring clarity, and a wide range of services. They also do walk-in appointments.
That sounds awesome. I'm gonna check them out.
So, when's this paper due?
30 minutes.
For more information, visit the UNT Writing Center's website.
Yeah, it's 6 pages.
If you're a sports fan, you might want to check out this brand new app. NCTV's Chris Cordova has the details on Apple's latest iPhone app.
That's right, Maurizio. Apple is breaking into the sports world. Their new app, Apple Sports, launched today for iPhone users. Apple Sports will provide up-to-the-minute scores and stats from popular leagues, including the NBA, NHL, MLS, and MLS. And during March Madness, it plans to offer the same thing for both men's and women's NCAA basketball. The app will even show users betting odds from the sports betting website DraftKings. Apple says they plan to add other leagues, like the NFL and MLB, when their seasons begin. Apple Sports is free to download today, as long as you have iOS 17.2 or later. That's all from me. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Chris. Well, Mauricio, speaking of the Apple Sports app, I haven't gotten a chance to check out our Dallas Mavericks play next.
Well, me neither, but lucky for us, our sports anchor Drew Maurer has the whole breakdown for us. Drew?
That's right, guys. I'll be previewing tonight's thriller at the Super Pit, as well as tomorrow's rivalry at the American Airlines Center, and a piece on how the impact of name, image, and likeness has created new ways for college athletes to interact with fans. So don't go anywhere.
I didn't know UNT had counseling services. Maybe I should check it out. This looks like the place.
So a man's been walking in the desert for days at a time. He finally comes across a bar and orders a Coke.
That's not funny.
Eh? Eh?
The NBA All-Star break finally comes to an end, and we as sports fans are just dying to watch some hoops. Well, lucky for us, the Dallas Mavericks take on their heated rival Phoenix Suns tomorrow night. The Mavs entire tomorrow's game on a 6-game winning streak and with everyone finally healthy. As for the Suns, Bradley Beal remains a game-time decision after exiting the game against Sacramento last Tuesday night. Regardless, Devin Booker is always ready for a showdown with Luka Doncic, and of course, they don't call Kevin Durant easy money sniper for nothing. You can catch Luka and Kyrie along with the rest of the Mavericks tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. on TNT. As for tonight, you can catch your Mean Green women's basketball team at the Super Pit as they take on the Charlotte 49ers. It's their second matchup of the year as the 49ers stole the first at Dale Halton Arena 74-64 on December 30th. Live and die by the three, one of the most commonly coined phrases in basketball. That was the curse that struck the Mean Green last showdown as they shot 21.1% from outside the arc. They're going to have to improve that margin if they plan to win tonight, and tonight's game has huge implications. The Mean Green have a chance to inch closer to their all-time win marker at 21, but perhaps more importantly, the first seed in the American Athletic Conference tournament. The game tips off at 6:30 p.m., so if you're going to attend, I'd get going. As the stars shine bright tonight for the Mean Green, college football stars get prepared for the NFL draft. In the new world of NIL, they aren't so different. One company, University All-Stars, creates collectibles that allow collegiate athletes to profit off their name, image, and likeness. Athletes are bringing an entirely new dimension to realizing their professional dream, one trading card at a time. Take a look.
The annual Shrine Bowl is a place for NFL draft hopeful athletes like Kentucky's Devin Leary to make their mark. For Scott Terrell of University All-Stars, it's a place for him to make his mark too.
So we did the Shrine Bowl last year, and it was such a huge hit with all the players and the family members that they called us back for a second year. It gives these, kids who are about to go to the NFL something tangible that they can bring with them, and it's their last NIL opportunity before they become pro.
Trading cards have always been a hot commodity in the sports world, but what really makes University All-Stars stand out isn't a stick of bubblegum.
I came up with this idea of taking a physical card and making an experience. They're done by famous designers and artists all over the world, so when you see them, they're truly unique. Each one of them is different from itself. That's why we're calling them experiential collectibles. This gives a way for consumers to engage the student athlete in ways they've never been able to gauge.
Scott was kind enough to offer me a card, and I chose to go with Michael Penix Jr., someone who is personal to me.
I always say that collectibles are just sitting on your shelf or in a box collecting dust, where these give something an experience to an everyday fan, which is just, you can't buy that right now. And so we are pioneering in that. We think we're creating some new things that are gonna, transform the entire collectible industry.
Drew Maurer, NTTV News.
You are interested in investing in a card? Visit yourallstars.com to view their entire collection. That's all I've got for sports. Back to y'all at the desk.
Thanks, Drew. You know what? This next story is putting me in the mood for a vanilla latte. Did you know that Starbucks over in China is getting creative with their new flavor options? Let's take a look.
We're here to try this new pork-inspired latte unique to Starbucks Reserve here in China. Let's go. Okay, all right, let's give this a try. All right, so let's take a closer look. You've got coffee, you've got milk, and you've got some barbecue-style sauce on top. We don't have the garnish of the piece of pork, which you see in the promotional materials, but all right, let's give this a try. One more sip. All right, so it pretty much tastes like a latte with a little bit of like a sweet, savory topping. I can see why people may like it. It's kind of that sweet, savory mix. This costs about $9.50 US. I think for me personally, I'm gonna stick to an almond latte. Mark Stewart, CNN, Beijing.
Chanel, I'm usually ready to try something new, but I also might just stick to my regular order. And I might need that regular order because I need a little extra pep in my step.
You know what? Me too, Mauricio. But you know what? I might see if they may have that barbecue flavor.
Well, that's on you if you want to order that. Thanks for watching NTTV Nightly News.
Join us again tomorrow at noon and tomorrow evening at 6 here on North Texas Television.